Yo, what's up? Lorenzo here. So, happy Friday, guys. All right. My apologies yesterday. I didn't upload a video because I was kind of beat and kind of hit the sack early. So, well, here I am, guys. So, anyways, topic for today, just a quick one that's just been brewing in my head for quite some time, and it's a topic of good and evil. All right, so let's relate it to film. Okay, well, if you're wondering why good and evil uh, has has been in my head, is because you know how the news are lately. It's kind of like this is regarding the Epstein stuff, and also about the corruption that's been going on in our country, the Philippines, and probably also the others. With Europe, about the immigration crisis, here flood control, the U.S. Epstein. Probably half of the world Epstein files. And makes you wonder that excuse me, that a lot of people, especially bad people, are being exposed now to the public, whether their stuff, their sick stuff that they do are being leaked, whistleblowers talking, news coming out, scandals. There's a lot of stuff coming out, and it's quite shocking, because these are people that you used to idolize, you used to watch, you used to think, okay, this guy's a good person. Then you find out he's been chopping up and eating babies, or stealing all the money in your country. These are people that you praised and listened to, looked upon to, as good people that you expect do good deeds, or you don't expect them to be that evil or to do such evil. And that's a shocker, very shocking. And there, and even here in this country, you have all these people, doing all their religious stuff, and then you find out that they end up, supporting a party that acknowledges murder. You know what I'm talking about. So it's kind of sick and twisted to know that these people do exist, and it's shocking. It's shocking. I don't know. I don't think they're that stupid, or maybe they do know and they turned a blind eye. I don't know. Well, let's see how this year ends with all this mess going on. So anyways, I just want to recommend a few a few old films that I watched. All right, and it kind of resonates with kind of what's happening in the world now. So no, it's not 1984. We're done with the George Orwell part. All right, we're done with that, and let's go to the religious, spiritual stuff. And these are old films that are fictional. All right, but it makes you think, it makes you reflect on things, and it kind of gives your brain a little quiz. It makes you think, just to if you're bored, take a watch. It might make you think and be like, oh, okay. So anyways, one film I recommend you to see is a Martin Scorsese film. It's called The Last Temptation of Christ. All right. I know it's an old film, 1988. Scorsese, Defoe, Harvey Keitel, you know. And the reason why I want to recommend to you this film is that it's an interesting take on the story of Christ, on the passion and death of Christ. But there's a twist, you know, and the twist is, what if Christ was human? No, well, he's human, but like, what if he was thinking like us, you know? Like, think of it like you're Christ, and you're given the task to die, to be tortured, crucified, and be resurrected afterwards. If you were given that mission from the above, would you take it? And you get to see the humanly side of Christ, where he's like, he fears for his life. He's doubtful. He's scared. His character is it's like saying, you know, why me? You know, and it also shows that, you know, he also has temptation of infidelity and fornication, you know, and it shows. What if Christ was more human than we think? And it's a very interesting argument. And what if he didn't pursue the mission to the cross? You know, what if he skipped it? You know, and what happens? What if he goes through the tortures and stuff, but escapes the crucifixion? You know, what would happen? So it's kind of interesting. Would it be chaos? Would the Lord of the underworld rule this world, and humanity is screwed? Our souls are gonna be compromised in this alternative situation. You know, it makes you question. So it's kind of like saying, like, Christ, he had to do his mission so that all of this stuff, that's probably the doomsday of us humans and good souls, you know, to prevent all of that from happening. So he has to do his mission. So that's the point of the film. He has to complete his mission. Otherwise, we're all doomed. You know, we're all doomed by evil. So that's the big argument with The Last Temptation. So it makes you curious, and you have a more human Jesus, like he talks normally, you know, and he tries to do his mission without any temptation, and he struggles. You see him struggle, you see him get stressed, you see him question himself, he even doubts himself. So, you know, it's a lot of big questions. As an audience, if you were also given the task, would you do it, you know, without fear? And, you know, so it's an interesting take by Scorsese, based on a book called also The Last Temptation. So even though it's fictional, it's quite an argument. So yeah, go see it, The Last Temptation of Christ by Martin Scorsese. And there's another one, last one I wanted you to see. It's an old film, black and white, 40s, 50s style. It's called The Picture of Dorian Gray. All right, so this one is kind of an interesting film, but you gotta sit through it to feel the movie. So it kind of tells you what the elites do. You know, they make a certain deal with the Lord of the underworld, you know, but in return, what's the deal? They make a deal with the Lord of the underworld. You know who it is. I just don't want to mention his name. The return is youth, money, success, power, and you have to stick to that deal, pay something in return, which is murder, you know, all the nasty stuff. So it's kind of like what you read in the Epstein files, you know, and this was made in the 30s and 40s. and wow, how it um, how it matches with the times now, with the elites, what they do. So there you have it. I don't want to spoil. I don't want to spoil so much, but go see it. The Picture of Dorian Gray. All right, it's an interesting take. You gotta think deeper. This is the type of film that's like, brevity is the soul of wit, meaning you don't get to see much, but it tells a whole lot about everything that you see now. So it summarizes everything, told in a very small, tiny little movie. It's good. It's good. It's kind of an eye-opening film, and it's interesting. And it kind of wonders why Netflix doesn't want to remake that. It's quite a brilliant idea, a brilliant film to be remade now. So what do you think? So yeah. Anyways, Last Temptation of Christ, The Picture of Dorian Gray. These are two films I recommend. Go see it if you're a cinephile, film dude, whatever. It will take your interest up. So that's it, guys. Enjoy your weekend. Happy Friday. Cheers. Eat healthy, exercise, and that's it. Gotta bounce. Ciao, guys.